You see, a popular financial expert and relationship coach was said, and he has continually said that, had I know is the last comment of a fool. And for you not to say, do, or say, had I known, it is better that you take advice or take caution while it's early. And on my own side, I will always say that caution is not fear, caution is wisdom. You understand? If you happen to be a man who is married or you've given birth to at least one child, either out of wedlock or not out of wedlock, it is very important you go and do the paternity test or the DNA test of that particular child that is being acclaimed to be yours, or that you are claiming that is your child. You understand? As far as you are the one taking the responsibility, or someone else, whether you are the one taking the responsibility or someone else the one taking responsibility, but as far you are being called the father of that particular child, you are being attributed to be the one that brought that child to life or impregnated the lady that, I gave birth to that particular child. It is very, very important that you do what we call paternity test, or popularly referred to as DNA test, to know or to ascertain or confirm the paternity of that particular child. You see, something happened in my locality last year, that a man who is a high court judge, a a state, when we say a state high court judge, was saying a high court judge of a province, you know, something happened, and he did DNA tests for 5 of his children that were given, that were birthed to him by one woman, and only for him to discover that none of the 5 kids were his kids. You know what it means for you to rise in the rank to become a province high court judge? You know what it means. If you are in the law profession, you know the level of years he has studied, read books, and for him to become a high court judge. You understand? So this man discovered that none of his kids were his, even though he has taken care of these kids all through the university, secondary, elementary school, and the rest of them. Another aspect of their life that he has actually taken care of. You see, if their man was actually knowledgeable enough, now when we say knowledge, we're not just talking about you going to school. Going to school is part of knowledge, but it does not encapsulate total knowledge. If he was knowledgeable enough, he would have, or if he knew enough, he would have gotten to a point whereby he would have done DNA to ascertain the paternity of such children. But he did not do that, and he regretted it. The only from according to the story, he said that he had one when he got married to this wife that gave birth to 5 kids and none were his kids, that I think along the way, I think after the first, he gave birth the first child, actually, then he actually had a side chick, then the side chick now gave birth to one particular child, and it is that child that now happened to be the only child that this particular man had. Now we're talking about a man who was already approaching his 60. This is the kind of person that we're talking about here. So this person is already working towards his retirement in his service year, or service years, after years of service in the justice system as a judge. You understand? So this kind of person that we're talking about here, that based on carelessness and negligence or lack of adequate information being communicated to him, and him overlooking some certain things, he almost paid a golden price of wasting a lot of his money to train kids that are not his, and they ending up becoming someone else's kids. You understand? How about the emotional damage that is will actually cause such a particular man? You see, you cannot actually quantify it. So this is the reason why we're saying that if you happen to be a man, your wife has already given birth, it is very, very what? It's very, very pertinent. It's very, very important that you know that you it's very, very important that you what that you actually uh that you actually conduct DNA or paternity test for those child or children of yours as early as possible. And let me tell you, I will shock you today that you know paternity test or DNA test is expensive. But if you consider what the cost in the future, what you will lose, it will become penny wise, pound foolish. So don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Instead, be penny foolish and you know pound wise. You understand? So take that particular drastic step today. Conduct DNA test for your kids. Ascertain that you are the one, you are the father, and you know even if the child is misbehaving, you know. And when you do that, let me just tell you, don't do it in one lab. Do it in at least two laboratory, so as to ascertain that whoever is in this laboratory is not being bribed. And you know, when you intend to do it, do not your wife or your baby mama should on no account has have any idea. In fact, even your best friend should not even be aware that you want to do DNA or paternity test for your kids. They should not be aware, because if they are aware, they can mess things up. Especially if that your friend maybe has something doing with that your baby mama or that your wife. So ensure you do not what your your friend is not aware, your baby mama is not aware, even your in-laws, they shouldn't be aware. You understand? Just you know, go to the laboratory, make inquiries, know what is required, then come take the samples and the rest of them, then go back to carry out the test, then get your results. And you know, from what you get from your result, that will not determine your next line of action. You understand? This Deficit Podcast, it's peace, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay peaceful, stay out of trouble, and you know, remember our goal is to build a relationship that stands the test of time. Relationship whereby we'll be happy today and tomorrow will be happy. 50 years to come, while the relationship still exists, the family still exists, we will still be happy and we'll celebrate that, you know, we didn't break up while we started. Deficit Podcast. I'll talk to you.